What's up, people? Matthew Belcher from 8built.com, coming to you from the shop in Cookeville, Tennessee. Starting to be spring weather here. It's nice. We're starting to get a little bit of warmth. We wanted to bring you an update to the DURAMAX LML build we're doing. It's a 2011 GMC Denali 2500, and this guy likes to go fast. We've been working on this. There's a part 1 video on YouTube, and I think we posted that like November. So what happened is we took this motor, we had a machine shop lined up that was going to do the machine work in about 2 to 3 weeks was the original discussed timeline, and then they sat on it until I think it was the end of December and hadn't even touched it. I'm not going to say names on who that machine shop was just because I don't like blasting out of business like that. I don't think that's professional. So long story short, we went and got all the motor parts, the motor and everything, and hauled it up to a dude in Knoxville or Kingsport, Tennessee named Excalibur Diesel. And then we had another 2-3 week time frame from when we finally got him the parts. So far, he did a phenomenal job. Without a doubt, this is how the motor came back from him. We were originally planning to do the motor build here at Ape, just because I love building motors. Everything's clean, everything's organized. You go step by step. It's a good process if you get it down. But we got so delayed with this project that I just said, go ahead, build it, and get it back to us. So he did a phenomenal job. They stuck to their time frame. And got it back to us. This motor, like I said, this customer likes to go fast. He's wanting to go fast. He's got nothing but sports cars other than this truck right here. And he wants his truck to keep up with the sports cars, so it's in here. But this motor's basically had the works. I got a parts list here for you fellas and ladies, but we did everything we could basically. We got Waggler competition, rotating assembly, so it's stroked. You got Waggler connecting rods. You got the Waggler, what do they call that thing? The girdle. It's a street girdle. So basically it locks in your main caps to the outside of your oil pan. So everything on the bottom of the rotating assembly basically locks together and helps keep everything from throwing out. Basically it locks the main caps with the outside of the oil pan. It's one solid sheet. We'll show you some walk-arounds of this motor, but if you look right above the oil pan, there's a street girdle, and what they call it, and goes all the way across and connects everything together. It's got a Waggler rotating assembly, like I said, pistons, springs, Waggler push rods. Let me see here. Callie's forged comp crankshaft. 100 over injectors. We also put the GM pinned oil pump. So when you're spinning this much horsepower, some of these GMs they like to spin on the oil pump, then you lose oil pressure, and of course that messes up the motor. But you can upgrade these and put a pinned oil pump in it, so you eliminate that problem. Yeah, so that's about it. I can go off the top of my head, but we got this ATS diesel stage 5 billet transmission we got installed in here. It'll have the Copilot lockup controller. We got the Stealth, I think it's a 64, it's a 67 millimeter Valley turbo, and then we've got the industrial injection compound turbo setup for the secondary turbo. We also got aftermarket intercooler, basically all the goodies we can have, and I'll have a parts list on the final build down below the YouTube video so you guys can see exactly what we put into this truck. But we appreciate the support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You can also see here in the engine bay that this customer had, when he showed up with this truck, he had a lot of aftermarket accessories, being an air horn, I think he had cop lights and everything rigged up on this thing. Basically every aftermarket accessory you could put on a truck, this guy had. So, and there'd been about 3 or 4 different shops that had installed different products, and when we tore everything apart, the wiring was just madness. There were wires everywhere. Some of them were loomed, some of them weren't, and they were just shoved back in the back corners. So one of the things when we got this motor out of here, what we did is we went through and cleaned up all the wiring. We've got it all loomed. Of course, some of you guys probably still think it looks like a mess, but if you know what we worked with before, you'd say that's a great improvement. We painted the engine bay. We've cleaned all this up. You've got this clean motor, so everything when it goes back together to be nice, to be clean, and be pristine, like a new truck. But he's still got a lot of aftermarket accessories, so it's all cleaned up, runs right down the right side. Then you've got, of course, your main harness that goes with the motor and all the injectors and everything else. We got Radflow shocks we put on here, Cognito upper control arms, the PPE tie rod ends, which is crucial when you're coming to this much horsepower. We're trying to get over 1,000 horsepower, and I don't think it's questionable that we're going to make it to that point. But the PPE, the tie rods, we got stage 3 on here, because if you've got that much power and you throw all that power to the ground in full-wheel drive, it'll yank and break those tie rods. So we went with the biggest ones we could get, which was the PPEs, and you'll see them in the little video shots as well. Wildwood brakes, went with the 6-piston, so he should have stopping power without a doubt. Those Wildwoods are clean. And when you upgrade to the 6-piston, when those things came in and I unboxed them, I couldn't believe the size of them. I mean, they're just massive, and that's what you need to stop a big, heavy truck like this with front bumpers, rear bumpers, and everything else. We also cut the hood. First hood, he asked me to just cut some holes in it so he could have some vent. So we put some functional hood vents in it so that it'll help extract the heat out of the engine compartment. This is part 2 of the DURAMAX video. We're going to have a part 3 when we're done with it. Sorry for the delay, guys. We're trying to get it consistent and coming to you. We had some delays, like I said in the beginning, with the machine shop. So everything's coming together now. We're about to throw this thing back together, throw some horsepower on the ground, and get it back to the client. Like I said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Comment. Let us know what you guys think, and like the video. Later.